Patch 11.1.5 is just around the corner, and with it it'll add a bunch of new mounts, 22 new mounts to potentially add to your collection, 12 of which will come from various pieces of content, and up to 10 of those may see themselves in the trading post. So the first mounts up we're going to talk about will be coming on the launch of the patch. This will be the new event called the Nightfall, and you're going to go out to Hallowfall. You'll get a quest in Dornelgal that will kind of breadcrumb you there, and this event happens every hour on the hour, although the mounts actually aren't going to come from the event itself directly. The first mount up is going to be the Radiant Imperial Lynx, and this is going to come from Renown 9 with this faction, and once you are Renown 9 you can purchase this from Lars, who's nearby, kind of near where the event happens. You're able to pick that up. In terms of how you're going to get reputation with this faction, there's going to be two main sources. First of all, the event itself. Every day you do this event for the first time, you'll get 3 different bags, a green, blue and purple, and getting all 3 bags will give you a combined total of 500 reputation. Then after that, every event that you max complete, meaning you get the purple bag, you'll end up with 250 reputation total instead. But this is repeatable. You can do this every single hour for 250 reputation. Additionally, there will be 3 daily quests for you to do as well, and these are going to be nice because they will give us access to the second mount, which we'll talk about more in a moment. But doing these quests for the first time every day will give you 100 reputation per quest, and then if you do these on your ults, you'll get 50 reputation per quest instead. However, currently on the PTR there is a way of cheesing out a little bit of extra reputation, and the way we're going to do this is we're going to head to the event and we're going to have some ults parked at the event. Once the event begins, you're going to do the objectives if the objective is to kill like mobs, or the objective is quite quick to do and is giving you progression towards the bar pretty quick. If it feels like it's not a good kind of objective, we're going to completely ignore that and we're just going to kill mobs. I don't know if this can be done in a group. If it can, this will speed things up a lot, but the goal is just to get the bar maxed out as quickly as possible, and then once we've got our 250 rep, we're actually going to log onto an ult and get that character as progressed as possible too. And I was able to get kind of 2 to 2.5 characters done because the very end of the event is kind of like big waves of mobs. You can get like 50-60% progression from this, and then killing the end boss gives around I think 45% as well. So getting those 2 things done can basically just max out a character. So even if your first character is kind of slow, as long as you get the last 2 parts of the event done on a second character, you'll basically have a maxed out bar too. So this will allow you to consistently get 500 reputation per hour, making use of the ult cheese. In between the events then we could be going and doing the quest on our ults just to gain some extra reputation, meaning this reputation could be in theory done within the first week if you're willing to kind of really grind it out. The next mount is the Void Scarred Lynx, and this is going to come from those daily quests I talked about a moment ago. Completing the 3 daily quests will net you 3 of these confiscated cultist bags, and inside the bag will be a chance at the Void Scarred Lynx. This is once again doable on ults, so you can do these 3 quests on your main, log onto an ult, do them on your ult, and your ults will get these bags too, which should be able to contain the mount as well. The mount does seem kind of low drop chance. I have done a fair few of these and I haven't seen the mount yet, but that could just be RNG being RNG as always. Next up, we're going to talk about the new mounts we can get from Horrific Visions, and this event isn't going to be available on the launch of the patch, unfortunately. We're going to have to wait a few weeks and it'll be available on the 20th of May, so a little bit of a wait for that. The first mount we're going to talk about will be the Nesting Swarmite, and how this is going to work is very similar to the Male Muncher if you did the old visions, and by the way, the Male Muncher still will be available in these new visions if you haven't obtained that yet. We'll talk about that in a moment, but the Nesting Swarmite, the way this will work is there'll be a trash pile in every segment in Ogrimmar and Stormwind, so there'll be a part in the trade district, one in the dwarven district, etc. Clicking this will spawn a mob randomly. It might be some rats or like a slime or something, but there will be a chance of the Swarmite spawning instead, and you'll kill that and you will get yourself the mount guaranteed if you do get that spawn, but the spawn is going to be a low chance. So the idea here would be going through all 5 segments, making sure you click all the trash piles, so there'll be 5 trash piles to click per run that you do, and then you'll reset and go again and keep doing this until you do get yourself the mount. I did also mention the Male Muncher is available if you don't know how that works. Basically the same concept. There'll be 5 mailboxes scattered around Ogrimmar and Stormwind. You'll click these, you'll spawn a mob, and there'll be a chance it'll be the Male Muncher, which will give you that mount on 100% drop chance. The next mount up is going to be a mount crafted from materials we can find within the visions, and that will be the Void Crystal Panther. Now the mats and the mount itself is warbound, so you're not going to be able to sell this, but it is work orderable, so you might be able to pick up some work orders here and there to craft this, and this is going to be crafted by jewel crafters. The way this will work is you'll need various materials. We'll need an Orb of Mystery, we'll need 4 of these infused bars, we're going to need 20 of these onyx crystals, and then we're going to need some of these unusual gems as well. In terms of where all this stuff comes from, first of all, when I was doing these runs I had at least 1 mask active, so it might be the case that you need at least 1 mask on to have it drop. If it's the case you're doing it and you don't have the mask on and you're not getting the drops, then that may be why. as a lot of the stuff in the visions does require a mask. In terms of the first item, the Orb of Mystery, plus the recipe as well, we're going to get that from the Valley of Honor from Big Keech. As we head past the auction house, there'll be the little building on the right. We'll head inside there, you should find Big Keech in there, you'll kill him, and you'll get your hands on the Orb of Mystery, and if you are a jewel crafter, you'll get your hands on the recipe as well. Next up is the Unusual Gems, and I got these from Stormwind from Old Town. So I did a full clear of Old Town, and then the box at the end of the vision, it was inside that box, kind of like the rewards cache. Next up is the Onyx Gems, and these just seem to come from doing a mask run. Like every time I'd finish a wing, I'd loot the box at the end, I'd get one in, so you're just gonna have to do quite a few runs to get your hands on all of the ones that you need. And then finally is the Infused Bars. There's two locations for these. First of all is the Valley of Wisdom. You can keep running Valley of Wisdom over and over again, and there'll be kind of like this altar on the kind of right as you enter. Kill the mobs there and there should be a bar on top of that altar. And I got all 4 of mine from just doing Ogrimmar. However, if you want to spam up Stormwind, you can also spam Stormwind and go to the Dwarven District and there'll be a bar there instead. In terms of crafting the mount, once you've got all the materials, it's as simple as going to a workbench on your jewel crafter. These mats are warbound, so you can send them all to your jewel crafter as well. And then you'll go to the workbench, you'll craft it, and you've got yourself the mount. If you don't have a jewel crafter, as I mentioned before, it is able to be put up for a work order, so you can do that and get your mount crafted that way. Now there is a world some gold can be made from this by supplying the mats yourself. They are unique in terms of once you get like 20 of the crystals or 4 of the infused bars, you won't get any drop anymore. But once you delete those and go again, the mats do start spawning again. So it may be the case that you can supply the mats to other people and then never craft your own and just keep selling the mats that way. Not too sure if it will work. It's not something I've tested, but definitely something worth thinking about at least. The next mount up to talk about will be the Corruption of the Aspects. This is going to look like the Heart of the Aspects, but a void version. And for this we need 2 things. First of all, we need 40,000 of the currency. This is going to be a new version of the same mementos that we used to get. So you're not going to be able to use your old ones. You will have to grind out 40,000 of this new currency. And then also we need to finish the talent tree. So there's going to be a new talent tree that you'll have to work towards. It is currently time gated on the PTR, meaning you can only progress so far each week. But once you have maxed it out and you have 40,000 of the currency, we'll be able to pick it up from the vendor to the left of the entrance of the visions. In terms of farming the 40,000 currency, in the old days of visions, we used to have to be very kind of efficient with our charges because we would only have so many attempts we could do per week. But with the new version of the visions, the only thing we have limiting us is instance lockout, which is kind of scuffed currently on the PTR because entering the first room and then entering the vision itself counts as 2 different instances, meaning we can only really do 5 runs per hour. So what I would recommend, instead of trying to get as much currency as you can from one run, instead try to be time efficient and get as much done in a short period. So you want to blast through it as quickly as possible with as many masks as possible to get as much currency. I wouldn't go running around looking for the odd crystals and stuff, but if you come across an odd crystal or a chest on your way, then I'd definitely make use of that. But the goal should be to clear all 4 wings plus the end boss with as many masks on as possible in as fast of a time as possible. If doing 8 masks, it may net you more of the currency overall, but if it's taking you 50 minutes to do that, it might not be better than doing, say, a 4 mask where you can get it done in 15 minutes. However, do keep in mind the instance lockout, so we don't want to be going any faster than 12 minutes, because if we go faster than that, you're going to hit instance lockout, which is going to reduce the efficiency of the grind. One of the new masks I think would be pretty good for grinding this out is the new Multitudes mask. To get the Mask of Multitudes, you need to do a 3 mask run and clear every objective. Now, I killed every single mob while I was doing this as well, and I'm not too sure if that was part of the key to get the Multitudes drop, but if you do a full run and you don't kill every single mob and you've got 3 masks on, then that may be the missing piece. So just make sure you're killing every single mob that you can see in each section. And once you've done that, you'll have the Multitudes mask, which will add more mobs in the vision, just allowing you to get more currency as you're running through and killing mobs as you go. The next mount up will be the Ny'alothan Shadow Worm, and this requires you to do an 8 mask run in both Ogrimmar and Stormwind. And for a lot of you, this is going to be quite a challenge because 8 masks is going to buff everything now to be 200% increase. So the damage, the health, all that stuff, and all the mask effects as well. This is going to be quite a difficult challenge, especially Multitudes. There's going to be a ton of mobs now in there. They're going to be very difficult and they're going to kind of overwhelm you a little bit. So you do definitely want a pretty geared character to get this done. I'm not too sure how efficient 5-man running of this will be, but I do know that Sorodormi currently isn't very worth having. She basically doubles the HP of the mobs and doesn't really bring that much to the table herself. I found it better to just run without her, but it's up to you. Whatever allows you to do it. Either way, you need to get a run done with all 8 masks active. And if you're curious on how to unlock unlock all 8 masks, I will be releasing a guide either here or on Tryannatort game a little bit down the line, so keep a lookout for that. I'll probably put it in the description closer to when the visions are actually launching. While you're working towards this as well, you will get your hands on the old visions mount if you haven't got that in the past, and that will be the Black Serpent. And you'll just need to do a mask run with 5 masks on in Ogrimmar and Stormwind, so that's an easier version of the one that we're currently trying to do. Next up, we're going to talk about 2 mounts that are specific to Ogrimmar. This first one will require you to have at least 1 mask active, and what we need to do is gather 2 items and then head to the leather working shop, and there'll be a rug that we can click that will summon them up. The first item that we need can be found in the Valley of Wisdom, and that's going to be kind of near the big hulking guy. Just to the right of him, kind of behind a panel, there'll be the item that we can click. Should be very obvious, it'll be sparkling. And then once we've got the item, we're going to head over to the Valley of Honor. We're going to go inside the auction house and look on the right, and inside a box will be the second item we need. Once we've got both of those, we're going to head back to the drag. Inside the leather working shop, the rug should now be clickable. That will summon the wolf, we'll kill it, and we'll get a mount on a 100% drop chance, so pretty easy one to pick up. The next one requires us to have 2 masks active, so it will be a little bit more difficult, but not too bad. And what we need to do is head back into the Valley of Wisdom. We're going to fully clear everything here, and the void surrounding the elevator should now disappear, allowing us to go up and into the elevator. It'll take us up to the top floor. We're going to go and find some mobs there, and they're going to kind of keep swarming you. They're going to be waves and waves, and eventually an elite will spawn. We'll kill the elite, and once again you will get yourself a mount on 100% drop chance. Next, on to the Stormwind specific versions. The first one will be the Void Forged Stallion, and what we need to do here once again is have 1 mask active, and we need to hunt down 4 horseshoes. There's going to be one in the cathedral area here. There's going to be one over in the mage district here, one in the trade district here just in front of the bank, and then finally there'll be one in Old Town here. And once we've got all 4 of them, we're going to head to the dwarven district. We're going to go to where all the blacksmithing stuff is. There'll be a forge. We click on the forge, it'll spawn the rare, kill the rare, and you will get your hands on that mount 100%. The next one up will be the Void Scarred Gryphon, and this will require 2 steps. First of all, we need to have 2 masks active. We're going to go to the trade district, and we're going to defeat the first elite that we have to defeat here, which is Darkspeak, and just behind him we should find a dead griffin. Now before we get to him though, you should notice a note on the right hand side. We're going to click that note, and that will first of all tell you if it wants raw food or cooked food. We're going to then go up the stairs to where the griffin is, and there should be another note just behind the griffin, and this will tell you exactly what type of food it wants. It's either going to be fish, it's going to be steak, it's going to be spiced food, or it's going to be fungus. None of these items are available in the vision itself. Instead, it's going to be the war within cooking, and the food that's needed will change each day, so you need to go in there, figure out what it is for the day, and then get the food that's correct. So for example, you go into the vision and it tells you it wants raw steak. In this case, it would be portioned steak from cooking, and if it wants cooked steak, it would be unseasoned field steak. So it's basically the items that can be found under the prepared ingredients section or the snack section of the war within cooking. If you don't have cooking yourself, just go and learn it, because all of this stuff is basically given to you instantly, so you won't have to work towards having this stuff. And then from there, you just need to get the materials yourself to then process them into what the bird wants. So now that you hopefully have the correct item for the day, we're going to go back into the trade district, and just onto the right of the stairs there'll be a little bowl. We're going to click on the bowl, and any of the ingredients you currently have in your bag will be listed here, but we're only going to select what it wants for that day. So if it wants raw steak, we're going to select the portion steak, we're going to rattle the bowl, and eventually it should fly down. You'll defeat the rare, and you will get yourself that mount 100% chance. The final visions mount to talk about is going to be the quote-unquote secret mount, but this one's not too difficult. It's very kind of base level, and it's not going to be very difficult for most people to obtain, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. And that is going to be the Void Fire Death Cycle. There are quite a few steps involved though, and the first step is to be in Stormwind. We're going to go into Stormwind with at least 1 mask on, and we're going to go to the Dwarven District. Here near the auction house we'll find Haymar. He'll be on his bike, but we don't want to kill him too quickly, because if you do that, the bike will kind of fall over and die. So what we're going to do is DPS it down slowly until it gets to around 10%, and then Haymar should fire the bike forward. He'll jump off, you can now kill him no problem, and there should be like a hologram of the bike available in the area. You'll click on that and you'll be able to send it out of the zone by clicking the prompt. We can now safely leave the vision, and we should find the bike on the left side of the portal. You'll be able to interact with it, and it'll basically tell you what it needs from here on out to be able to fix it. So the parts to fix it are going to be a combination of stuff that we can find in the visions, and then repairing it with materials that we can find from outside the visions. So we'll start out by talking about the ones we can find in the Stormwind visions, because that's the one that you're most likely going to have up right now if you just got access to the bike. Once again, you do want to have one mask on for this, and first of all we want to head to the Old Town, and we're just going to clear out the Old Town. So completing the Old Town at the end of the run will give you a handlebar in the rewards box. You don't need to do anything special, just do the Old Town with one mask active. Now to repair the handlebars though, we're going to need one irresistible red button, which comes from engineering. Also from engineering will be one recalibrated safety switch, 3 whimsical wirings, and 1 storm touch weapon wrap, although the weapon wrap is from level working. Now one thing to note though, everything apart from the red button needs to be quality rank 3, so you need to have it at max quality, and that's going to be the same with anything else with a quality, so make sure you're buying max rank quality for all of those materials. The next piece we can pick up is going to be from the auction house in Trade District. We're going to head to the auction house, and here there should be a box just outside the entrance of the auction house, and inside it will be the magic lined manifold. And to repair this we actually need some old world engineering items. So the item we need is the elementium plated exhaust pipe, and this can be purchased from either Big Keech in the Vale of Eternal Blossoms or from Roxy Ramrocket in K3. While you are at the NPC though, there is another item we'll need later, so I'd recommend purchasing that now, which is the 4 goblin machined pistons. So pick those up along with the elementium plated exhaust pipe, and we've got everything we need from these NPCs. The next item we need is the void crystal, and this is simply from just clearing the mage district with a mask on. So go to the mage district, complete it fully with the boss killed, finish the vision, and inside the reward cache at the end should be the void crystal. And to repair that we need 1 convincingly realistic jumper cable from engineering and 1 refulgent crystal. Once again, both of these need to be rank 3. The final item from Stormwind that we can get is 1 of the wheels, and to do that just complete the trade district, and inside the chest should be the 2 items we need for the wheel, and then on top of that we need to get our hands on 12 rank 3 entropy enhancers. Now for the final parts we need are going to come from Ogrimmar, so you're going to have to wait for Ogrimmar to come active, and once it is, we're going to do the Valley of Wisdom and do this once again with a mask on, and this will give us access to wheel number 2. We'll get the 2 items we need for the second wheel, and we need to combine those with 12 rank 3 entropy enhancers. Now for the engine block, we're going to go to the drag, and inside the engineering building in the drag we should find the engine block, and then we can combine that with the 4 engine pistons that we purchased earlier, so that should be finished now. And the final item we need from Ogrimmar is going to be the boar hide seat. So we're going to complete the Valley of Honor once again with a mask on, and inside the reward chest at the end of the vision should be the seat, and then we're going to combine that with 5 Weaver Spell Thread at rank 3, and that will make us the boar seat. Now that we've got our part, all you need to do is go to the bike itself, interact with each of the options for each of the components, insert them, and once you've inserted all of them, you'll be able to activate the bike and get yourself that mount. So overall, not too bad. I mean, a lot of these parts you're going to pick up by just playing the visions anyway, so that's not too bad. It's just going to be the gold aspect from purchasing the other various items that you need. The next mount up to talk about is going to come from Dastardly Duos, and this event won't be active until the 3rd of June, and the mount itself won't be active until the 5th week of the event. The event will run from June 3rd to July 15th, and every week there'll be a new quest active. On the 5th week, the quest bag that you get from this will give you the Tryannatort mount, and it's just as simple as going in, doing the Dastardly Duos event, which is fairly easy. If you want to get a group of people to do it with, you can, but I wouldn't worry too much. You just need to complete this event, open the bag, and you'll get yourself that mount. So very, very easy. We just need to wait for that time sensitive period. Now, if you do miss the 5th week and you're doing this on the 6th week, that should be fine. The 5th week quest should still be available. You'll just do the 5th week and then the 6th week in the same week, and you'll get both of those done, and you will get yourself the mount. You just need to make sure you do complete those before the event ends. Otherwise, you'll have to wait for the event to return again, which we don't know when that will be, and we also don't know if it'll be the same rewards. So just try and get it done while it's time sensitive. The final things to talk about are mounts that may or may not appear on the trading post, because not all of them do show up even if they are flagged as being there. The first one up is going to be the brown furred spiky Bakar, which means if you did that massive achievement kind of list to get the other one, then you can get one in an easier way if this one does show up on the trading post, but it is what it is. Next up are going to be these harvest hogs. There's going to be a summer, a spring, an autumn, and a winter one, and these are great. I think these are really cool looking mounts. Next up will be the spotted black riding goat. It's a goat. We've had them from up, nothing too special there. And then finally there's going to be these 4 new Chimera's. There'll be the Cold Flame, Fellborn, Molten, and Lavaborn. And that is it. All of the mounts are going to be coming in the patch. So there's a good chunk. I think the acquisitions are pretty good. I don't think there's a ton of grindy stuff. There's a little bit of grindy stuff, which I think is fine, but not every single mount is logged behind like a 20-week reputation chain, you know? Like, I think it's pretty good. One thing to note though, before we do close out the video, is that there will be that massive reputation gain buff coming at the start of the patch, and that's going to give you 200% reputation with most of the Dragonflight factions and 100% with the older War Within factions. Unfortunately, that doesn't currently cover the Undermine, and I'm hoping they change their minds on that, because it would be a good way of them making up for the mistake that is the reps that are an absolute abomination, honestly. They take way too long, they don't seem very fun, and we're going to be doing them for months and months. They're just not really the best implementation on those. So I think giving this rep boost to the new factions would be good as well, but currently it doesn't work towards the Undermine reps. Either way though, this is a good opportunity to knock out some of these factions if you've not done them in the past, as this is going to be one of the faster periods to get it done. So definitely look towards doing that if you haven't already. Outside of that, look out for more guides coming soon. Thanks for watching, guys. See ya.